Missy Leone, good for her. She's the first person who has filed a wrongful death lawsuit against big oil. That is the first individual who's been affected by the horrors of climate change. Her mother died in a heat dome. And so she's suing 7 different oil companies. And I certainly wish her well for failing to warn the public. Failure to warn is a big thing in a lawsuit like this. They knew the danger and they didn't warn. So I think she's got a good chance of prevailing, but of course she's going against very powerful people. What is the oil company's defense? Next slide. They're saying restricting emissions could lead to crippling damages. Oh. According to the New York Times, the lawyer representing Chevron in the South Carolina case told the court that both Democrats, listen to this, both Democrats and Republicans have promoted fossil fuel production in the interest of national security. Now, yeah, next slide, please. Now this isn't working, wouldn't you know it? So I'll just work off that. Yeah, I've had a similar quest for accountability from a different angle. What was behind the crash that killed my father, America's first master spy in the Middle East, following his top secret mission to Saudi Arabia? Next. I was 6 weeks old at the time. I never knew him. But I did know that his State Department cover was cultural attaché. And the reason for that is he was a Harvard-trained scholar who was highly knowledgeable about the customs and religions in the Middle East, and that's why they considered him valuable. Next, please. For decades, I investigated what oil and the Trans-Arabian Pipeline had to do with my father's death. I even sued the CIA for documents. In response, they supplied this document, 7 pages of it, heavily redacted. But the redactors missed a sentence that got me on my crusade. We must control the oil at all costs. And so that was Saudi oil, that was his mission, and it meant battling our own allies, the British, the French, and the Russians, all of whom coveted Saudi oil and resented growing American power. Next. I learned from a New York Times article dated March 2nd, 1947, that Arabian oil was vital to rebuilding devastated Western Europe, and that a pipeline was of strategic importance to that plan. And this map really got me off and running. You will see in the lower part, it's dotted. That's the route of the proposed Trans-Arabian Pipeline. And then you'll see another pipeline to the north. It's forked like this. That's taking the oil of Iraq to the same coast, the Mediterranean coast. And you'll hear about that later. But I was focusing on tap line for the longest time, and then suddenly I realized those 2 other pipelines are really important in the analysis I'm about to give. Next slide. This is a quote from the New York Times issue. The headline, "Pipeline for U.S. adds to Middle East issues. Oil concessions raise questions involving position of Russia." This is most important. The economic and military protection of the pipeline will become a prime objective of American foreign policy in the area and a focal point between East and West. I also learned that since 1911, oil has been the fuel of the military, and that Germany lost 2 world wars because its military ran out of gas. Now, this is the missing connection I'm talking about. Because oil is the fuel of the military, It's a national security issue. That's why you don't hear the Republicans or the Democrats talk about it, because the oil companies have convinced them that it's national security. And I defy you, when you watch TV, to see on all the analysis of endless wars, whether they even get into the whole question of oil being the fuel of the military. Next. So let's talk about the Iraq War, 2003. Was part of it about restoring the Mosul to Haifa pipeline that was closed in 1948? And that was that forked pipeline I showed you before. That was built in the 30s, but it was conceived during World War I. And it has something to do with the Balfour Declaration and the formation of a Jewish homeland in Palestine, if anyone wants to ask me more about it. Okay, next. Oh, Benjamin Netanyahu, he boasted that soon the oil will be flowing to Haifa. So Netanyahu was a big cheerleader of the Iraq invasion. And so he wanted that pipeline to be opened up. It had been closed in 1948 during the Israeli War of Independence. And he said it's not a pipe dream. He was sure it was going to happen. But it was because the person who was supposed to replace Saddam Hussein, his name was Ahmed Shalabi. Oh, you know that name, huh? Yeah, right. He favored the restoration of the pipeline, but he fell into disgrace because it became known that he was the author of the weapons of mass destruction pretext. So that dream didn't happen, and it has yet to happen. That is reconnecting Iraqi oil to Haifa. Next. But there were bigger prospects for Bibi. In 2000, and then again in 2010, huge oil and gas reserves were discovered off the coast of Israel, Gaza, Syria, the whole eastern Mediterranean. Now, this is something that seldom gets reported in the press as well. Next. And by the way, that is a platform controlled by Chevron. And Chevron, by the way, is the latest version of Standard Oil of California, which got the original Saudi concession, which turned the U.S. into a superpower, is Saudi oil. So they're still at it, and they're now developing all this oil and natural gas off the coast. Next. Yasser Arafat was thrilled when he heard about all this oil and natural gas. He thought, at last, there would be some independent income for the Palestinians, and it could help the Palestinian states. But in 2007, the Israeli Defense Minister Moshe Ya'alon declared, without a military operation to uproot Hamas, no drilling work can take place. And what's happened is that the Gaza Marine is supposed to belong to the Gazans, and the Israelis have made sure it never gets into their hands. Their argument is, oh, this money isn't going to help them, it's going to feed the terrorists. So they're still without their rightful access to that. And to keep it out of their hands, there were two previous military operations since before the October 23. One was in 2009, and the other was in 2014. You may remember it. There were these big slaughters of Palestinians during those years, all to keep the oil and gas out of their hands. Next. This just shows you a map showing where the oil fields are. And who's doing that? It's nice. Who's doing that? Oh, thank you. That's good. So, I pose the question, what country is in the way to developing an energy corridor? You really got to learn the maps. This is all the eastern Mediterranean Sea. There's Gaza in the south, then there's Israel, Then there's Lebanon and Syria. And all of these places have been consumed with violence. What's it all about? Next slide. So there were this big plan before October, the India Middle East Corridor, or IMEC. Now notice that's Biden there, and he's cut a deal with Modi of India. All right, and they got big plans. It's going to connect India, and they're going to run pipelines and cables and so on from India across the Saudi Peninsula, and this will end up in Haifa, Palestine. Next.
Go ahead.
Oh, what happened?
Sorry. My legs are cramping. I just need someone to fill my water bottle.
Oh,
Sorry.
so this was a speech that Bibi gave at the UN last year, and he loves maps, you know, so here's the blessing and there's the curse. Do you know what the curse is?
The curse.
The access of evil, right? Iraq, Iran, Syria. That's the curse. The blessing is this IMEC corridor, which is going to consist of pipelines. And I find it very interesting because it almost follows the same route of the Trans-Arabian Pipeline that I showed you on that New York Times map. And they may even want to restore that pipeline. Next. Am I done?
Come close on time.
We're getting close. All right. All right. Palestine was not on the map. Next. Here's the thing. They want to create an energy corridor. Netanyahu wants to do that. But no bank will finance it as long as there's unrest. So how do you deal with it? Flatten Gaza, depopulate it, and demilitarize Hamas. That's why all the allies of Israel have kept quiet, because they have big plans, and it goes beyond the new Riviera. It's an energy corridor, and they're going to start shipping oil and natural gas up to Europe. Ties in with the Ukraine war. Next. And then I bring, at what cost? We must protect the oil at all costs, my father said. Well, that's a meme that's gone all the way up to the present with all these endless wars, and now we look at the cost, the horrific cost, and that number is outdated. Next. I had to show that because it's next. I'm almost done.
Yeah.
Next slide.
Just had some technical difficulties here.
Oh, I just wanted to show you, this came out in July 2002-03. It's a tanker program run by the U.S. military in a time of crisis. Well, what crisis are they thinking of? You have to wonder. Yeah, see, that's the purpose of it, to provide the fuel of the military. Next slide. I'm going to end on something positive, hopefully.
There we go.
Oh, I think we don't have time for Syria. If you want to ask me about Syria during questions, whether the Syrian civil war was a pipeline war, which I think it was, ask me in questions. Let's keep going. Yeah, the new Syrian president, he's talking oil now. Yeah, they got plans. Let's go. Or then, of course, you all know about these two straits that are key to tanker traffic, and all the incidents that have been happening there, which goes to show, you know, oil is on the military's mind for sure. Next. Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, I got a call from the CIA. Who would have thought? And they asked me if I would like them to honor my father. So, and I said, yeah, sure. So that was meaningful, and they even told me they consider him a role model, because he knew the culture. That's the point. And now, ending. Well, that's just, we can keep going. That's my book, which has the pipelines on it. Next one. Groups are making the connection between oil and genocide. There it is, United Methodist Church. Chevron is profiting from the genocide in Gaza, and then there's one other group I wanted to show, Oil Change International. And they've been focusing on who is supplying the oil to the military machine. They've got it broken down by states and also by countries. And at the same time, they're connecting it to climate change. And I think that's about it. Oh yeah, to conclude, oil fuels the military and militarism fuels climate crisis. And so, and that's it. Thank you. And I would just say, we're learning. When will we ever learn? We're learning. We're teaching each other, and we're fighting back. That's what we have to do.